thought you wanted to try something, or you got really excited about an idea or an investment or anything, and then someone close to you looks at you and says, why would you want to do that? And it gets your wheels turning, and now you're worried that it might not be a good idea. That's what happened to me back 15 years ago when I decided that I was going to be moving to Western Pennsylvania, and I wanted to buy my first investment property when I was 24 years old. I felt like the world was against me. People were saying, why would you want people calling you in the middle of the night? Do you know how much money it's going to take? But what if I told you that it was the best decision that I ever made, that I still own that investment property, that brick 2 unit, and it led me down a path of switching careers, owning my own business, and creating another source of passive income that will allow me to retire and have financial security. So what I wanted to do today was to walk you through how to buy your first investment property and just some of the things that you need to know and understand if you're thinking about buying your first investment property and you have no idea where to start and you're getting all the chirpings in your ear from everyone else who does not own any investment properties. I'm Megan Marsh, co-founder of Keystone Alliance Mortgage and Keystone Capital, and we help home buyers and real estate investors, business owners buy buildings and their homes and investment properties. And I wanted to share with you today about buying your first investment property because I know it's scary, it's confusing, you know nothing about it, and if your experience was anything like mine, I had people telling me all the reasons why I didn't want to do it. But the earlier that you can start in your journey onto buying your first investment property, the easier it's going to be for you. And I'm going to give you an example in 2 different ways and reasons, depending on who you are and where you are in life. If you don't own a home yet, if you are, you haven't owned a home, let's say you're not married, or even if you're married, right? So the best way to get into buying your first investment property, if you don't own a home, is to consider buying a place that you're going to live in. That is the absolute best way. And it's the best time when you want to live in the house because there's what's called an FHA loan. And an FHA loan is the only loan out there that you can purchase a 2 to 4 unit building and put as little as 3.5% down. There is no other time and there is no other loan type that would allow you to buy up to a 4 unit building with that amount of a down payment. Now, when I bought my first investment property, the mortgage market was completely different. And I was able to buy my first investment property with a conventional loan, putting 5% down. I lived in that property, and while I was living in there, I was able to buy other investment properties with 10% down. Those types of loans don't exist any longer. So for those of you who do want to buy investment real estate, you do need to think ahead and you need to think of the strategy and how, if you want to try to buy a number of places, let's say your goal is to buy 1 a year, how you're going to do it, where the down payment's going to come from. And the best strategy that I use personally and that I've seen other people use if you get into buying your first property when you're a little bit younger or before owning a home is what's called the BRRR, which is you buy it, you rehab it, fix it up, you rent it, and then you rinse and repeat and you go buy another one. Because any time that you are going to live in an investment property, that you choose to live in it first is when you're going to get more favorable terms on mortgages. So I explained that there's the FHA loan that allows you to put that 3.5% down. Now, a lot of people think, okay, if I use that FHA loan for my first property that I'm buying, I can't use it again. And that's not true. You can actually get more than one FHA loan. It is more challenging and you really need to work with someone who knows what they're doing. But as long as your household family size is increasing and you need more space, you could, let's say, buy a 2 unit like I did, and you could live in there for a year, and let's say you get married and there's another person now and you need more space. You could then go buy a single family home that would be a great rental with your fiance or your now spouse, and you could move in and buy this single family home that has more room by proving that your household size has grown, and you could use that FHA loan for a second time. And then after living in that single family home, you fixed it up, maybe done the carpeting, you fixed it, you can then decide, let's say you want to have kids and you need a bigger place. Well, then you can move on to using a conventional loan and moving into somewhere else and putting 5% down. So that's the basis of your BRRR strategy, is using homes by living in them and getting to put less down. It really helps you acquire real estate in a way that you can't do for any of you that are listening and want to buy your first property. And let's say you already have the spouse and you have the kids and you have the house that you're living in. If you try to go purchase a house and you're living in, let's say, a $200,000 home, and you go to an underwriter and say, I'm going to go buy that 3 or 4 unit and move my 5 family into it, they're just not going to believe you, and they're going to know you're not doing that. So if you are planning on buying and you do own a house, then what do you do if you didn't buy that multi-unit when you started out and you've got a family and you're in a home? Then it's going to take a little bit more planning. But let's say you've owned your home for a good 7-8 years now, maybe even longer. A lot of people don't realize that you can use the equity in your home, the home that you purchased, the home that you've been paying down, and all you need to do is you need to look at either setting up a home equity line or doing a cash out refinance and pulling the equity out and using that then to go put a down payment on a home. Now let me back up for a second. So when I say home equity line or pulling equity out, what does that mean if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about? That means, let's just use some really simple numbers here. Let's say you bought a house back 7-8 years ago for $70,000, right? And you had a loan originally for $65,000. And now that loan is down to $50,000 that you owe on your house that you live in. But now it's not worth 70 anymore. It's now worth 100 and you owe 50. So the difference between what the house is worth, the house you live in, what it's worth, and what you owe, that's your equity. And a home equity line will let you pull some of that equity out. You can't get all of it. You won't be able to get all 50 of it, but you could set up a home equity line, most likely for $30,000 to $40,000, which will give you a nice chunk of money that you could then go use to purchase your first investment property. Or if you don't want a home equity line and you'd rather just pull it out and have a fixed mortgage and not have 2 loans, then a cash out refinance allows you to do the same thing, pull that money out. And unlike the home equity loans that are they're just an interest only that you make payments on, it puts it into a mortgage that's over your 15 to 30 year term. So now you've got this chunk of money that you can use to go purchase that investment property. So that would be one of the best ways. And then the thing to know is, depending on what type of property you purchase, they require different amounts of a down payment. So there are some loans still that you could buy a single family home and put 15% down. But if you start looking into the bigger units, a 2 unit, a 3 unit, a 4 unit, you're going to need to have that 25% down payment. There are also other ways that we will continue to explore in some of our other videos, where if you have a IRA or a 401k at a job that you're no longer at, there are ways to use those IRAs to purchase properties, or someone else might have an IRA that you could use as a down payment to purchasing. There's some more complicated ways and techniques, but using your equity and using real estate to build wealth, to build passive income, is one of the best ways, and it's a great way to diversify your investments. So I'm excited for any of you that are thinking about doing this. I would love to see in the comments any questions you have about how to get started and what other questions you have besides how to buy that first one, because I truly think the people that are the most successful long-term at buying real estate are the ones that plan it out and have a long-term vision, because it's not a get-rich-quick thing. And the only last thing I wanted to bring up here is you could do the same thing with your equity, flipping a property. And there are loans out there that allow you, if it's your first one and you want to try flipping, then there are loans that allow you to pull that equity or use cash you have on hand to purchase a property, flip it to create profit, and then use that to invest afterwards. So those are just a few ideas for any of you that are interested in investing in real estate. Even if you've had people whispering over your shoulder and telling you that you're going to get those calls in the middle of the night or it's going to be a lot of work, anything that's worth it is a lot of work. Keep on reading, learning, watching videos. If you got value out of this video, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell so you get other notifications. I'm Megan Marsh from Keystone Alliance Mortgage and Capital, and good luck in your investing adventures.